Yo, peace, peace, peace. Peace, love, and light. Shalom. Hello. Y'all come on in. Y'all come on in. Got a pretty good show. Pretty good live. Move this stuff out. Put this camera on. All right. Yo, peace, love, and light. Peace, love, and light. Let me turn this up a little bit. Mr. Jones was good. Peace, love, and light. I was just in New Orleans when it was 2 weeks ago. Got what they do, bro. Shalom, shalom. Jay was good. You said the world is spiraling fast. Feel like I'm in a movie, man. This is a movie. It's a video game that we in right now. Florida checking in. Cool, man. I pray that y'all were good. You know, that the Most High kept y'all, protected y'all. Sweetie was good. From what I know, some people in Florida, they still don't got power. Some people got power. Some people saying that the gas stations are back up and running. Some people are saying that they still out of gas. So it's up and down everywhere right about now. So peep this, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it. But first I wanted to just check on y'all, see how y'all was doing. 1 second. I wanted to check on y'all, see how y'all was doing, wherever y'all at. I'm in Indiana right now. Me and my family, we on the road. So we in Indiana chilling right now. We're gonna get back on the road later on this evening and get to our destination. So I wanted to go live and talk about something before we head out. Let's see. We are watching the fall of America. Yes, we are. Not just America though. I mean, I know the main focus is America, you know what I'm saying? Because we never seen anything like this in our lifetime. So I know that's the main focus is America, but man, the whole world, and that's what I'm about to go into. I'm about to go into that in this live. I want to show y'all something. We're gonna play this clip, we're gonna react to it, and we just gonna go from there. So I already got it pulled up right here. I want us to check this out. All right, all my people who live in Africa, all my people who live in Central America, South America, Europe, the Asian countries, I need for y'all to tap in, tune in, check this out. All right. So it says here, let me make it a little bit bigger. Like I said, we could wait for some more people to come in, but we just gonna go straight into it. Huh? Oh yeah, it's blurred. Okay. I mean, you can still see you, but it's kind of blurred. But so check this out, y'all. This video was sent to me by my dear brother, one of my dear brothers. And the title of it is "The Elites Are planning to shock the world. This is Whitney Webb, BlackRock Exposed. All right. We got a lot to get into, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let me start this over.
Global policy push for digital IDs as the new form of government-issued identification credentials. And they're essentially all based on your biometric data, which can be your fingerprints, your face, the iris of your eyeball. And the idea is essentially to collect all of that data and have it housed or have it tied directly to your digital ID. So your physical ID will be mapped to the digital ID.
This future that Whitney Webb will be describing in today's video will probably sound scary to a lot of you watching, but it's the reality of what we are to expect with this new AI digital asset future that BlackRock and many other elite organizations are trying to push on all of you. And I've been doing some research on the World Economic Forum and looking through a number of their different articles. And what I've found is most likely going to shock a lot of you guys. They're talking a lot about what Whitney Webb is mentioning in today's video. And when we're talking about digital ID and programmability, well, this is a huge topic in the cybersecurity section for World Economic Forum. You see, generally speaking, the World Economic Forum, or WEF, is actually working with the likes of the CIA, the FBI, and many other organizations for security reasons, when in reality, their plans are a lot more sinister. And Whitney Webb is going to be talking about this in today's video, which is absolutely crucial for all of you to educate yourself on, for it's going to drastically change the future for virtually everybody across the globe today. So later, we will be diving.
And that's why I want, let me turn this up a little bit. Hold on. That's why I want for my brothers and sisters who live abroad, those who thought that, okay, you know, we're going to leave America because this is going to happen to America and we're just trying to flee, we're trying to get away to live a better life and da-da-da-da. Okay, this is why I want y'all to check this out, because listen, when we talk about digital IDs, we talk about, you know, social credit scores. We're talking about this digital system, okay? This is something that's going to be implemented all over the world, okay? All over the world. You can't escape it, all right? So that's why I titled, I didn't title the live. I was going to title the live that, but it doesn't matter where you go. It don't matter where you go, you know? And this is why I was trying to explain this to all these brothers and sisters who left America, because in Africa, and we're going to go into it, in Africa right now, in a lot of African countries, they are starting to implement this, right? In Asian countries, they are starting to implement this. I'm talking massive security. You know what I'm saying? Biometrics, they doing it everywhere. But we're gonna get into it though. We're gonna get into it.
Diving a little bit deeper into the World Economic Forum and how they are manipulating a lot of you. But first, let's hear what Whitney Webb has to say.
Digital IDs are not really a separate project from CBDCs in this new digital financial system. In UN documentation and also documentation from the Bank of International Settlements, they very overtly state that CBDCs and digital IDs are meant to go together. And without digital IDs, the CBDC digital finance system cannot exist. One of the reasons it can't exist without that is because of the KYC functionality built into this digital financial system. They have the know your customer protocols. They have to know who you are. And so they want to have your wallet tied to a digital ID and have that digital ID be mapped to your physical ID through the biometric data collection. So there's different efforts to make digital IDs either as NFTs, non-fungible tokens. There's also the efforts of Sam Altman of OpenAI and his WorldCoin project, whereby you scan your iris, you give them the biometric credentials of your eyeball. They give you a unique identifier, a digital ID, and it's inherently tied to a digital wallet. That is the same model the UN is using. They've already implemented it for refugees getting food assistance from the World Food Program. It's called Building Blocks. It's on blockchain. It involves refugees scanning their irises in order to buy food or receive their rations, they have to check out of a grocery store style place in the refugee camp, and they check out biometrically with an eyeball scan, and then the amount of food they have, the monetary value of that is subtracted from their digital wallet connected to their digital ID and their iris. It doesn't matter what country you're in or whether you're part of BRICS or part of the collective West. This is being rolled out across the board.
Across the board, everywhere. This whole world is becoming dystopian by the day. All right. So yes, there may be places in the world right now where people feel like they can go to and they can experience a sense of peace, a sense of freedom. I mean, hell, even right here in the United States with me, living off grid, and I mean other people who live off grid, we got a sense of freedom, you know what I'm saying, a sense of peace, right? But just know that at some point in time, we are going to become, well, hell, I mean, we already that right now, but I'm just saying, as things roll out, we are going to become public enemy number one. We're going to become a threat to the social establishment. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you why though. I'm gonna show you why. Because just like a good friend of mine said, it's gonna be about comply or rebellion, right? And I'll tell you the truth, most people in this world are not going for it. They're not gonna go for it. Which is why, all these wars are going to start taking place. And it's going to be the governments of the world, the military industrial complexes, you're right, going against the people, going against humanity. Okay. But let's go.
So what entities are pushing this interoperability?
One of the main reasons for this coordinated global push to develop digital IDs is because it's deemed essential to the entire Sustainable Development Agenda, which is the UN Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, also known as Agenda 2030. And the specific part dealing with digital IDs is within SDG 16, which is about building peaceful and inclusive societies. One of the indicators of SDG 16, 16.9, calls for legal identification for everyone in the world from the time they're born, essentially. The leading alliance that was launched under the auspices of the UN to accomplish that is known as ID 2020, and has since been folded into what is called the Digital Impact Alliance, which essentially has the same funders and founders as ID 2020. So ID 2020, the UN and other stakeholders in this particular sphere often argue that the reason this is necessary is because of what they call the identity gap. And the identity gap is the claim that the lack of digital ID is preventing people, mainly the world's poor, from accessing essential services, whether it's banking, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare. They claim the only way for these people to be able to access these services is to onboard them to these identity schemes.
And
So this book called Six Figures from Scratch is designed to keep open while you trade. So it's about the astonishing science behind everyday men and how they got to six.
I'm going to admit, initially upon hearing this from Whitney Webb, I was a little bit skeptical about what she was saying. But upon researching the World Economic Forum and going through all of their articles, I found that she was 100% correct. And what I'm about to show you is going to shock you.
And so you see here, it says accelerating digital inclusion for 1 billion people by 2025. Now, I got friends who live in certain parts of Africa right now. And when I did a little bit of research, I saw that they have initiatives in place, okay, where they spending like 150 million. I think it was a million. It was either a million or a billion. Had to been a million. But anyways, what they're trying to do is they're trying to implement these digital IDs in Africa, right? Uganda, Madagascar, Ghana, you know, all these different places. They're trying to implement this stuff everywhere. Hold on, let me. All right.
But first, I must let you know that the BlackRock CEO, the FBI, the CIA, all these large technology companies that are going to be responsible for this digital ID system are in collaboration with the World Economic Forum. They're either direct members of the forum or they are literally collaborating with them on these initiatives. Now, one particular initiative that caught my eye and that they talk about very much so on the WEF is the fourth industrial revolution. And more specifically, they posted an article called Accelerating Digital Inclusion for 1 Billion People by 2025. Now, of course, this is put out in a way that seems inclusive, that seems positive, but they actually have much more sinister plans that you guys need to be aware about. You see, they start the article by talking about, how they've improved people's lives and how today there's 2.6 billion people who do not use the internet. But then they go on to say the Alliance is mobilizing cross-sector action to provide affordable and accessible digital solutions across health, education, and financial services. Now, what are all of these health, financial, and educational services? Well, a large part of this is exactly what Whitney Webb is describing, where they are scanning the irises and putting out these blockchain technologies for these impoverished nations. And essentially what they are doing is they are testing this system and modifying and making the system better on this control group. They're basically doing an experiment to ensure that they can push this system forward so that they can start controlling you or me down the road. And if you think that this is impossible to happen in a developed nation like the United States of America, I just tell you guys to go look at what's currently happening in China. Right now, Chinese cameras are able to use AI softwares to scan people's faces if you were, say, jaywalking the street, and then they automatically affect your social credit score and make it so you can't enter into certain grocery stores. This is something that's already happening in other developed nations. That is the second largest economy in the world. So if you think that it's not possible for this to happen in the United States of America, well, you're most definitely wrong. And the way for us to not allow this to happen is really crucial. But first, we need to understand the system more, because Whitney Webb does give some more vital information on what their plans are.
So what they mean by essential services is they say without these forms of recognized identity, people in the world, mainly the world's poor, are unable to access bank accounts, unable to access healthcare, unable to access government services, a variety of things, because they don't have ID or they don't have bank accounts, things of that nature. So in order to allow everyone to access all of these things and include them, hence the frequent word of inclusion in all these documents, they say digital ID is the necessary way to bridge this identity gap.
Do you find those arguments credible, or?
One of the main words they use to market this stuff is equity and inclusion. The idea that we need to include everybody in these new systems. But if you don't participate in digital ID, you won't have a legally recognized identity. You won't have rights. You won't be able to access services without it. So it's being framed as promoting inclusion, but the system itself is inherently exclusionary and has been used to track and surveil people, to link people to, essentially all their activities, what they say online in some of the countries that have rolled this out, and has been used to facilitate human rights abuses. So it's not exactly as inclusive as they like to claim. It's inclusive in the sense that we want everyone equally included in our new system that we're creating, our new control system, fundamentally. The UN likes to talk about human rights and how this is ultimately a human rights project and things like that, or how it's empowering human rights. But in other documents of the UN, they refer to human rights not as inalienable rights, which is what most people think of when they hear the term human rights. In some of these UN documents, they refer to human rights explicitly as policy tools, or tools that can be used to basically implement, specific things and mechanisms that ultimately give, greater control over really any aspect of your life that they may want to influence. These guys also admit that the digital ID and CBDC is meant to be the same thing, and there's some very illuminating policy documents in this regard. So for example, there's this one UN document called the People's Money, they call it, and it essentially talks about creating a citizen-centric, SDG-aligned digital financial system, which is obviously the system.
Take off the mask and look at your smile.
That we've been talking about. And what they say in there is essentially once your savings and your money is onboarded onto the system, they feel that they reserve the right to access and use your funds to develop and implement the Sustainable Development Goals.
And so I found this document after going through the United Nations website. It is indeed called The People's Money, and this is publicly available for all of you guys to look at yourself. But I found a few things in this document extremely interesting. There's roughly 60 pages. The introduction alone is about 5 pages, but they make a lot of interesting statements, right? And this is from the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and these people are super connected. I mean, we have people from every single 3-letter agency that exists making quotes and talking about this whole idea of the people's money. Now, one thing that I found really interesting throughout this document is the theme of urgency. They say there is an urgent need to return the financial services industry to what it's supposed to be, an industry that serves people. But what they don't seem to like to talk about is how this new system actually gives them a lot more control. It is a classic manipulation tactic. They're saying, this is for you guys. This is in your best interest. You guys need to want this. This is going to make sure that you guys are not going to be taken advantage of. Meanwhile, we are giving all of the power to these very few individuals who have been abusing us for all of this time. I mean, do we really trust BlackRock? They are a member who is frequently attending these meetings. Do we think that BlackRock is going to solve our problems? Do we want to give them more power over what we're doing? But their messaging across this is, oh, this is a historic opportunity combined with unprecedented crises that we're going to solve. And it's just so concerning that they're releasing these documents and talking about this, and people are just shaking their head and saying, yeah, this sounds like a fantastic thing. So Whitney Webb is 100% correct. And I urge you guys to take out and read this document yourself. I will provide a link to this, but first, there's much more important information that Whitney Webb does talk about here. We're really just getting started.
Feel that they reserve the right to access and use your funds to develop and implement the Sustainable Development Goals or build the infrastructure necessary for it. So they essentially think that your money is their money. When COVID was happening, there was this push for vaccine passports. And a lot of the people that were pushing or creating the vaccine passports were part of this, either ID 2020, or they were part of related entities pushing for digital ID. And essentially what happened with the vaccine passport was to link your identity to your travel, to the freedom of movement. And if you didn't have one, you were excluded from entering certain places. So that, again, highlights the idea of how these digital IDs are inherently exclusionary, because if you don't have one, then you're excluded from, moving where other people that have those privileges. And if you don't abide by these various stipulations, you're excluded from participating in those things. And if you look at how the UN sponsored groups like ID 2020 are constructing this, they're trying to hide behind a facade of decentralization and construct digital identity in a way that they call as vendor agnostic, meaning that any private company in theory could develop a digital ID system that people could use. So you'll have a variety of companies or government agencies issuing digital ID, and it will not look like a centralized digital ID, but it will be. Based on what's been developed so far by these entities, it seems like that database is meant to be housed at the World Bank, and it's called ID4D, and is sort of cloaked in the same rhetoric that ID 2020, cloaks their own project, claiming it's decentralized and all of this, but it's a centralized global data set where all these different digital ID systems can export their data to. The World Bank's interesting in the sense that, the World Bank, the IMF, they essentially use a debt slavery model to enforce policy objectives on national governments. And the World Bank has openly said that debt is a critical form of financing for the Sustainable Development Goals. So basically saddle a country in debt, and instead of having it enact austerity policies and things like that, it's to get them to enact digital ID. It's to get them to enact financial inclusion, as they call it, with the CBDCs and their public-private sector equivalents, things of that nature. So that's how they they force nation states to act as these enabling environments for these policies. A lot of it is through debt slavery, essentially.
And then governments are sort of just voluntarily following all that.
The UN very openly views the role of national governments only as enabling environments for these policies. So the national governments aren't meant to develop these policies themselves. They're meant to enforce these policies developed by the UN and their stakeholder partners, groups like the World Economic Forum, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and then enforce those policies on the public. So a lot of people view the UN sort of as a meeting of the different public sectors and governments of the world, but even the UN leadership have admitted that since at least in the 1990s, if not earlier, there was what Kofi Annan, the former UN Secretary General, called a quiet revolution at the UN, where the business of the UN became the businesses of the world. And there was this move away from the public sector to having it emphasize public-private partnership, which is why you have the premier promoter globally of public-private partnerships, the World Economic Forum, being one of the main strategic partners currently of the United Nations. And this isn't free market capitalism, it's crony capitalism, it's cartelism, because these are, fundamentally corrupt players that don't play by the rules. They manipulate the free market to advance themselves and generate more money and become more powerful. And so really this is, a merging of the public and the private sector, but it's the private ones in control and they operate as a cartel, not as free market capitalists. And that's essentially where we are right now. And this was essentially admitted before Congress by a very prominent figure at the time named Samuel Pisar, who is probably best known now as being the stepfather of current Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. And when he testified before Congress, he talked about the rise of what he called the trans-ideological corporation, where essentially Western capitalists, or a group of them, had decided to cooperate and do business rather with the people that ran state-owned enterprises in the communist bloc, and together build a network of corporations essentially that would become so powerful that they would make the nation state irrelevant. And this is essentially the model we have today.
These policies would include like the CBDCs, the SDGs, and the digital IDs? Or?
Yeah, so a lot of these policies are folded into the UN Sustainable Development Agenda or the Digital ID Agenda, and there's different think tanks and different entities that push for these things. But one of the overarching ways this is being forced on the national governments is the Sustainable Development Agenda, the SDGs, which essentially every country in the world has signed on to implement, and even countries that are supposedly against, the West, for example, the adversaries of the West like Russia and China, have issued joint statements about how they agree about Agenda 2030 and the need to implement these things, while the West, the EU, the Biden administration all also agree about those things. It's a global agreement that these particular policies need to be implemented at the global level. I think there's a lot of growing awareness that the UN as the global superpower is problematic for a variety of reasons. But the same people that ensured the creation of the US as the superpower in the post-World War II era are also behind the creation of this multipolar world order that is also being, currently created right now. So after World War II, there was the Bretton Woods situation, which helped ensure US financial hegemony around the world. And currently, we have what a lot of these same actors are calling the new Bretton Woods moment that needs to be seized in order to create a new global financial governance system. And
so, for the most part, y'all hear what she's talking about. And some of us already know this, right? Some of us already know this. We know about the 15-minute cities like the brother Redmond just mentioned. You said, I believe the United Nations passed the medical digital ID a few months ago. Yeah, I think they also, they passed this thing where they have like sovereignty over all these countries. You know what I'm saying? It gives them like more power and control. Like for an example, if like there was a pandemic or something like that, right? Then they can enforce medical martial law. They can pretty much do what they want to do, right? Listen, like I said in the beginning of the video, I really want my brothers and sisters who live abroad to pay attention and to just bring it down a little bit, just humble themselves just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm being for real, like I did a live a while back where I was saying something along the lines of like, you know, people who live abroad have this thing or this attitude where, you know, people who still live in America or they're doomed or whatever the case is, right? And you know, they have this thing, right? They have this spirit or this attitude or this mindset where like just because they are in another continent or country that they're good, they're safe. Now me, you know, I pray for everybody, regardless of the situations that you find yourself in, you know, because I remember when I used to say like people who live in the city, y'all need to get out the city, but I had to really analyze all of that and, you know, basically come to terms with the fact that people who live in the city just don't have the means, right? A lot of people don't have the money to go and buy land or to move out of the country or to, you know what I'm saying, get resources, stock up on all this stuff that we be talking about, right? So, you know, therefore, you know, I'm a person who is solution-based. I'm like, okay, cool, got it. What those people in those situations need to do is they need to start linking up with other people, right? Start reaching out to people who may have land or, you know, people who got space on their land and who's, you know, willing to let people to come on their land and start dwelling there with them and building and, you know, establishing communities and things of that nature. You know, really just start, like I say, linking up with people, getting with their loved ones. But I understand too that a lot of people are in situations where they are alone. They don't have nobody. You know what I'm saying? And then even if they do meet somebody, you know, it may be a person who lives in Florida. And then the person who they connect with may live in Indiana or something. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, boom. Now the person who lives in Florida who has an opportunity to go and link up with these people or person, right? They have to make a decision. They have to make really tough decisions. Like, okay, am I going to step out on faith? Am I going to go, you know, I'm finna put myself in a brand new environment. You know, I'm finna leave everything. I'm finna just get out of my comfort zone, all of that. So, I mean, it's so many variables to all of this. But going back to the people who live abroad, I was saying all that to say, like, people got to be humble because these agendas that we know of, they are for the whole world. They're not just for America. They're not just for China. Like what they said in those documents, right? What the girl was just talking about. This is for those places in the world where the people are really, really poor. You know what I'm saying? The people who don't have access to internet and things of that nature. And if we go here, right? Let me show y'all this real quick. Let me show y'all this. Okay. If you take a look at this, and this is not all of the countries, okay? This is just 34 countries, including Palestine, Syria, who apply for BRICS membership. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you can't see. It says there are nearly 34 countries who have communicated to BRICS for being considered as new members. These include Algeria, or however you say it, Azerbaijan, or however you say that, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Chad, Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, whatever that say, Honduras, Indonesia, Kuwait, Laos, Malaysia, Morocco, Nicaragua, Nigeria, Pakistan, Senegal, South Sudan, Sri Lanka, State of Palestine, Syria, Thailand, Turkey, Uganda, whatever that say, Venezuela, Vietnam, and Zimbabwe, right? Zimbabwe is a beautiful country. Uganda is a beautiful country, right? Venezuela, Vietnam. I know a brother who lived in Vietnam, and I remember a couple years ago, he was making videos back to back to back. I love the brother, respect the brothers. This is no disrespect to the brother, but I'm just saying, like, he was making videos saying things like, oh man, Vietnam is on the up and up, the economy is doing good, da da da. But if you go and do some research, you find that Vietnam, they in on it too, right? They trying to implement it there too, right? So like I say, this is global. It does not matter where you go. And just like the brother here, Raymond said, without Yah, it doesn't matter where you go. I mean, and that's true. I feel like in this world, there isn't really a safe place to go, right? There isn't a safe place to go. The only safe place to go or to be in is in the Most High.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? This is why, listen, this is why one of the reasons why I did the presentation, the only way out is to go within, right? Because in this outside world, in this material world, this physical world, there's a false sense of freedom, a false sense of peace. And if one wishes to go out and try to find that, you will never really truly find that. I don't care if you go off grid. I don't care if you go into the wilderness or whatever the case is, because we live in a world where we have governments that they don't listen. It just gets under their skin when people have a desire to want to grow their own food, when people have a desire to want to, not go along with the get along, right? People who don't want to go along with the status quo, people who can think for themselves, people who are critical thinkers, they do not like that, right? And like I said in the beginning of the video, people, and it's so crazy because I want y'all to look at it like this. See, we talking about all this stuff that's coming, and actually it's already here, but I'm saying the more these things implement and get started, you're gonna start seeing things. But what I want y'all to know is nothing is new under the sun. Nothing is new under the sun. So the same things I'm talking about as far as being a critical thinker, right? One who questions everything and one who just different. We see that now, how those people are treated. We see it on all levels. You see it within your families, right? You may be the black sheep. You may be the one that's like, nah, I ain't with this. I ain't with that, right? Your family start looking at you like you crazy. Boy, we've been doing this all these years. What you talking about? You sound crazy. You sound like you've been listening to them folks on right? You can't just be a critical thinker. You just can't be one who questions and just be like, nah, that don't make sense, right? I've done the research, that's not good enough. So again, it's on every level, right? Let's look at what example can I use? Okay, let's look at the entertainment industry. You got the entertainment industry who abide by certain rules, right? Certain regulations. We have seen with our own eyes what happens to those who are quote unquote whistleblowers. Those who, go out of their way to say, hey, y'all, Hollywood ain't what you think it is. Hey, y'all, there's a lot of sinister stuff that be going on behind the scenes. right? We've been tricked, we've been programmed, we've been brainwashed to think that these people that we're looking at on our TV, these people that we're listening to on our radio stations, thinking that these people are good people. You're right. We just been going along with all of this, not realizing that these people were put in positions to brainwash us, right? To put out negative frequencies, to implant things into our subconscious, right? This is how the powers of the world, this is how, and they cowards. They are cowards, man. Look at how they do things. Clearly, they are the enemies of humanity, but see, it's just like if you look at how they move, they are cowards. They have to do everything, in the guise of something else, right? They gotta lie, they gotta deceive, they gotta do all this and that. They'll never come to you face to face, because we're talking about a small group of people, for real, for real. They'll never come to you straight up and be like, I'm your enemy and I want to kill and destroy you. They'll never do that, right? They gotta make up stuff. They gotta, I'm telling you, and see, like I say, all this stuff that's coming down the line, we think that these are new concepts and new ideas, but it's not. It's the same old stuff they've been doing, same old programming. But like I was telling my homeboy earlier today, what it is like this, right? Just like with our phones, how our phone sends us notifications. Hey, your phone needs an update to the new for the new system. Hey, on your computers, you need an update. Hey, right? So think of this matrix that we're all living in, this system. It's the same system. It just needs to be updated. Then this is what they're doing. They're updating the system. They're updating the matrix. Okay. They are putting in, new technologies and things of that nature. They want complete control. I'm talking, they want a hyper control matrix. And like I say, it's nothing new under the sun. It's nothing new under the sun. If we take a look here, like I say, 1 second. Hey, shalom. I'm gonna try to run through this because I don't want to be in it too long. So let me stop that. Let me show this. Okay, let's look at this word. Hold on 1 second. Why is it not pulling up? Hold on 1 second. Oh, wow. The internet's not working. It just stopped working.
It did that? Are you sure? Mom, it's working.
Hold on. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me? Okay. I guess it went out for a little bit. Okay. So check this out. Let's look at this. Like I said, if you look at the word dystopian, it says relating to or denoting an imagined state or society where there is great suffering or injustice, the dystopian future of a society bereft of reason. Here it says in a noun, a person who imagines or foresees a state or society where there is great suffering or injustice. Okay. Now, that lines up with this next definition I want to show. Okay. Because if we look in Proverbs 29:2, and like I say, you know, anytime I'm reading the Bible, I like to open up all the translations so you can get a greater understanding of what's being said. So in the King James, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Okay. When the godly are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in power, they groan. And as we can see right now, and for a while now, for a long time now, the wicked has been in authority. The wicked has been running the show. And of course, the people have been mourning. The people have been mourning. And see, what's coming, we've never really experienced in our lifetime. Okay. Like I said, a lot of these same things that they're implementing, they're doing, they've been doing. Okay. But I'm talking about what we see in the movies is about to become real life. Okay. And I want y'all to know this. Whenever, not just me, huh?
I'm just asking to pick them up from the park. I'm just trying to go over there and focus.
Oh, okay.
And then
But I do want to say this. Y'all got to understand that not just me, but everybody out there who has been prophesying, everybody out there who has been warning the people, listen, we don't do this to fearmonger. Okay, well, I can't speak for everybody else, but I know for me, I was never in it for that. Okay, it was never I was never in it to instill fear or anything like that. And to this day, that's not why I say what I say and why I talk about the things I talk about, right? It's more so to get you in that that state where you become more familiar with it, right? More prepared, so that you can adapt, right? You can know how to maneuver and navigate through these times that's coming, right? Because you can correct me if I'm wrong. In the scriptures, it says knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of your times, right? I talk about movies, TV shows that you can watch that kind of show you the plans of the enemy, right? What they plan for the future that they like, the future that they want. They make movies and TV shows, right? Showing that. It's like a model, right? So what they do is they go to these producers, directors, and say, hey, listen, here's our agenda. Make a movie showing these things to give us an idea of what it would look like, right? That's what they do. So, but they put it out to the world like it's entertainment, like it's, you know what I'm saying? Like it's sci-fi. It's just, you know, just a movie. But no, these movies come from the minds of those who, you know, are sociopaths, psychopaths. You know what I'm saying? Devils, demons, dealing with it, and their goal is to, like you say, Doug, you know, put a lot of predictive programming in there. There's a lot of symbolism in these movies and shows. So what I want to do is, because like I said, it's a lot that I can show y'all, a lot that we can get into, but I want to go through some of these movies real quick, because y'all already know about Klaus Schwab and how he, you know, he got that slogan or that saying, you know, you'll own nothing but, you know, you'll be happy or whatever, right? And we know the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, right? The UN, we already know that they want to control this whole world, and they want to establish a new system, okay? And in this system, I'm going to show you what that looks like, give you an idea of what that looks like. And at the end of the day, what it comes down to is for you, all y'all that's watching right now, all my brothers and sisters who left the country, went to other countries, which is cool. My question is, when it comes your way, when they implement this digital system where you no longer can use cash, right? All you brothers and sisters who live in other countries, because right now, that's how y'all staying afloat. Y'all still attached to America in some way, shape, or form. You dig what I'm saying? Y'all got American bank accounts. Y'all got American jobs. Even though you're living in other places, you still, you know what I'm saying? You got remote jobs and stuff like that. But what happens when this economy collapses? What happens when, you know what I'm saying, the bank that you got, all your money is in right now? What happens when that bank crashes? You no longer can access your money. A lot of y'all that's living in these countries don't speak the language. How you gonna, you know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm just being real. Right? At the end of the day, I believe that if you truly are in the Most High gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a struggle. It's gonna be a struggle. The Most High gonna take care of you. But I just want y'all to know that this, what y'all, like how y'all living right now, it ain't gonna always be like that. It's gonna come down to a choice. Are you gonna go with this new system, or are you gonna be one that's gonna be on the outside, who can't participate in all those things, like that girl was saying? You're gonna have to make a choice. You're gonna go with the beast, or you're gonna go with the Most High. And those who go with the Most High, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, because they're gonna be trying to come after us, and they're gonna brainwash everybody that's in these new societies to think that anybody that's on the outside, they are a threat. And they show that in all these movies. It's the same old theme. Every movie, it's the same thing. And we finna go through some of them. There was this movie that just came out on Netflix. A movie that just came out on Netflix. I don't know if y'all seen it, but it is called, hold on one second. This movie right here, Uglies. Just came out on Netflix, right? It says, let me go to the plot. It says 300 years into the future, the government provides everything, including plastic surgery operations. And you will not believe who they got as the antagonist in this show or a movie. It's a transgender man playing as a woman. Anyway, everyone on their 16th birthday receives the pretty operation, transforming them into society's standard of beauty. After the operation, new pretties cross the river that divides the city and lead a new life with no responsibilities or obligations. There are two other operations available: one to transform new pretties into middle pretties, adults with a job, and another to transform middle pretties into crumblies, late pretties who live in the suburbs. Former cities have decayed after bacteria infected the world's petroleum and made it unstable. The old society, so dependent on oil, fell apart when cars and oil fields exploded and food could no longer be transported. People who lived before the catastrophe are called the Rusties. What's up? It says Tally Youngblood is almost 16. Like everyone, like everyone,
I'm gonna get you one like this.
not everyone, like every other ugly, she awaits the operation with great anticipation. Her best friend, Paris, has already had the operation, and motivated by her desire to see him, Tally sneaks across the river to New Pretty Town. There, she meets Shay, another ugly. They become friends, and Shay teaches Tally how to ride a hoverboard. Shay also mentions rebelling against the operation. Okay, at first, Tally ignores the idea, but is forced to deal with it, and Shay runs away a few days before their shared 16th birthday, leaving behind cryptic directions to her destination, a renegade settlement called the Smoke, where city runaways go to escape the operation.
Stay on the porch of the chair.
Now, what I'm going to do.
Oh, yeah, we can do that, actually. Boys, y'all don't know that go to the car, we're gonna down in the car. We can go, as soon as I load up.
One second, let me see. Let me see. Okay. One second. Let me see. I'm trying to see how can I share it. Okay. Y'all can see that. See now, I think I'm gonna pause it and then play it.
Where should I put the TV?
TV. We gotta put everything else in there first to see
Okay.
if that's gonna fit, because all the stuff that was in there last night, it wasn't no room for the TV.
Did you have the white charger?
Yep.
Okay, I don't need it, I just make sure they get lost, the one with the white block.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let me see something real quick. I just don't want the video to play, but I just want you to hear the audio. Hold on, let's see. Can y'all hear that? Sure. Hold on.
Is this the back that the PlayStation was in?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll leave it out. Let me see.
Oh, share. Hold on 1 second. To share audio, share a tab or screen instead. Oh, I'm gonna have to do it like this. Share system audio.
Because I should leave this one too, because your stuff was in it.
Yeah, just this one and the PlayStation, baby.
Okay.
Bro, I was supposed to go with some of my friends. I chickened out. But then I met you. And we did all those tricks, and I liked the way that felt. I like reading books and making things. And they don't do any of that stuff in the city. You get the procedure, they tell you what to do, and that's it. Shay, I just think that you're afraid to grow up. I'm afraid to stop growing. I want you to come with me. No. Tally, look, I have food for both of us. From the kitchen, like you showed me. No, that's not what that was for. It's just 4 days away, and they grow their own food there, Tally. And I've heard it smells like the sea. Shay. And there are no morphos or tablets.
I like tablets and I like morphos.
And everyone is exactly who they're born to be. They're free.
I don't want to be free. I want to be pretty.
You see that? You see that type of mindset? That is what a lot of us going to be up against. So when they start to roll out these things, and we saw it during COVID, right? We saw it, our own family members, right? Our friends. We were trying to tell them, like, listen, don't participate in it, right? Oh no, I gotta keep my job. I want to keep my job. I want to keep my job. I want to go here. I want to go there. I want to do this and do that. But then ended up getting fired after getting it anyway. Crazy. So what I'm saying is, ain't nothing new under the sun, right? You gonna have some people to be like, I don't want to be free. I don't want to, live a life of, where I'm in peace. I don't want that. I want to be controlled. I want to be a slave, right? And I mean, we can even see glimpses of it now, man, with this election. We can even see it, bro. Even though, like I say, it's all BS. We know that. But there are some people out there that's, oh man, Kamala, the first black president, woman president. Kamala. These people don't care nothing about the facts. They don't care nothing about her history. They don't care nothing about her character. They are all into race politics. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about policy. They don't care about none of that. They're not looking at the fact that every time she talks, well, I came up in a middle class family, and there's a lady who lived down the street from us. She was an owner. She had owned her own business, and she was a hardworking lady, and same old stuff. Every time she talked, it's scripted. It's scripted. You know what I'm saying? Dang, man, I got some more, but I'm being rushed
I'm
to
in my
go.
mind, y'all. We have to get on.
We really, I mean.
Well, the boys is in. You want me to tell them to come back in now? I mean, it's okay. Yeah, I just didn't want you to be late. If it's not gonna affect your time.
No, I'm not gonna be late for the delivery.
Okay.
I just wanted the time back at a decent time, like after my delivery.
Okay.
Or during the delivery. But let me just run through these clips.
Shazy.
Okay, so let me go back to this. Let me see if it's showing. Okay, so check this out. This is another clip from the movie Uglies. Okay, and this is what the governments of the world are going to brainwash their people, right? They're gonna get into their minds. And just listen to the conversation. This is the antagonist. This is the transgender I was telling you about, the person that's supposed to be, I guess, the leader or the ruler of that particular city. Listen.
Shay's in danger.
I don't know where she is.
We believe she's been brainwashed by a man named David. He gets people to trust him and then holds them against their will.
See, everything she's saying is really what she's doing. Okay? Everything that she's saying, that's what she and her government is doing. And this is what you see in our world today and in times past. They lie. They lie, they lie, they lie. Everything they put out, right? They make you think that it's you. They make you think like this, the world, you know, being in the condition that it's in right now. We not the ones who's you know, operating these planes, dropping all kind of stuff into the atmosphere. We not doing that. We not going out to the ocean, you know, contaminating the waters. We not doing that. We not killing all the birds. We not killing all the fishes. We not doing all that. But yet they'll say, well, it's you humans that's doing this, and you humans that's doing that. But we know who it is. Anyway.
Help us. The sooner you do, the sooner we can get to your procedure. We have facilities right here. Do you remember anything she said that would help us find her?
I wish I could help.
Well, maybe a night back at the dorms will help you remember. Something may jog your memory.
You're gonna send me back to the dorms?
Only until you can help. Just try to remember.
Hey, look who's here. Why is she back? She's gonna be here forever.
All right, that was it on that one. All right, let's go to the next clip. Now, listen to this one.
A handful of people know. This man, David, the Smoke, they're developing a weapon to attack us.
Why would they want to do that?
They've decided their way of living is more worthy than ours.
Which it is.
So much so they want us gone. They plan to use this weapon to wipe out our city, to destroy our way of life.
Shay's not part of any of that.
She is now. Don't underestimate David. He's brainwashed her. Shay is under his power now. And if she tries to leave, he will hurt her. Or worse. I need you to find the Smoke. We need you to become one of them so we can find this weapon before it's too late. You have a choice to make, Tally. You can get the procedure, as you've always wanted. Or you can head into the unknown. Save your friend. Save us all.
Take the coaster straight past the gap until you find.
All right. Now you see the same thing if y'all know about the movie The Giver, right? Same thing. Let's go to the next clip. So Pete, this.
How did it feel seeing her?
It actually felt kind of good being back there. When I saw her, the strangest thing happened. I started feeling things.
Because, all right, so now, the reason why I say this movie right here in the movie The Giver, you're going to find the same things, right? The same things. The reason she's asking him, what did it feel like? And he's saying, you know, how he's expressing how he felt and stuff, right? That's because the VACCINES that they are administering to them, it removes the feelings, it removes the emotions, it removes the memories, right? So every time they come in contact with one who they deem a threat, right? The threat is reminding that person of who they are and what they are, what makes them human. Okay. This is why, people like me and you, this is why we're going to be looked at as the enemies, because we think for ourselves. We are critical thinkers, and we are going to be the ones, like we're doing now, waking up people. Okay. From, helping people come from under this programming, this brainwashing. Listen.
Things I hadn't felt since before my surgery. She reminded me of the way that I was, who I was. And I kind of missed that. I know it sounds stupid because I'm here now, but I'm still connected to her.
It doesn't sound stupid, Paris. And you're not alone. There are always a select few who need more. We've been working on a brand new path for a select few just like you, Paris.
Oh, you hear that? You hear that? Now I'm gonna go ahead and spoil the movie. See, listen, you got what you call super soldiers, okay? Super soldiers. And we already know that with these super soldiers, they juice them up. They juice and juice and juice them up to the point where they don't have empathy. They don't have feelings of any kind. They're programmed to do one job and one job only, right? To carry out the biddings of these governments, to kill and destroy, right? So it's the same thing. It is the same thing. And hold on one second. Oh, I know. Hearing this song. Okay.
One that promises real clarity of thought. I can make you very special. How does that sound?
Sounds great. Thank you, Dr.
So you got to understand, in this whole little clip right here, she basically telling them, like, listen, she telling them without telling them, like, yeah, we finna erase all your feelings. We finna erase all of your emotions and everything. We finna make you a soldier, one of our soldiers, right? So we finna juice you up. Gonna put you on the MK Ultra mind control. We finna do the whole thing to you. Thank you for the information you provided to us. He should have never said, I felt these things. He should have never said that. But that's that. Listen to this.
Some fires in the West Pass before we head home. Wait, you set the fires?
Those orchids are toxic. They pull all the nutrients from the soil and destroy everything in their path.
No, those are the clean solution to the oil that the Rusties used.
That's what they want you to believe. Those flowers are turning the planet into a wasteland, killing everything, forcing everyone to live in the city.
Oh, say what? What? What we see right now as we speak. What technology they're using? Creating storms, destroying everything, right? Trying to relocate people. They know people ain't gonna do it on their own. So they gotta bring in the machine. Let's destroy the land, right? Destroy the land. Let's force them to move into the cities. It's not just that though. Over the last 4 or 5 years, what have we been hearing as far as the crops and things of that nature go, right? They've been spraying stuff from the skies to try to destroy the crops, right? Making it harder and harder for people to grow food. And this ain't just America, this all over the world.
Come with us.
Forcing these people to move into these 15-minute cities or these smart cities, places where they can be controlled.
See for yourself.
You sure you want to take her up? We don't know this girl.
It'll be good for her to see the truth with her own eyes. I vouch for her.
Come on.
And see, this is where it gets tricky too, because you remember I said, like, as times go on, it's going to be harder and harder to trust people. There's going to be a lot of people saying, "Hey, can I come out to your land? Can we dwell with you?" And this and that, this and that. See, again, this girl was being used by her government to infiltrate, to gain information, right? And so that ultimately the government can take down the people who's living on the outside, right? This is why I say it's going to be harder and harder to trust people, man. It's no disrespect or anything, but it's hard because you just don't know. You just don't know. And I can understand why people are doing this by themselves. I understand it. You just don't know. Go to the next clip.
Living in the city. We grow our own food, but you'll be surprised how much better it tastes when you grow it yourself. Everyone has to work, even our elders. We don't have money, so we share things and trade.
Stay warm.
Thank you. But the most important thing, everyone is here because they choose to be here. It's exhilarating, and it's real.
You keep your supplies in a cave?
It's a safe house too. Tourmaline blocks your scanners.
They used to be train tracks in the time of the Rusties, but now we're recycling the rail ties.
To use it for what?
Everything. Pots and pans, gardening tools.
What about stuff like weapons?
I mean, in theory, but it's not really our style.
Can I help you?
No,
So I just wanted to play that clip because this is what we're telling everybody now. This is what we've been trying to get everybody to realize for a long time, that it's so much better to live on the outside of the city, right? The cities are concrete jungles. The cities are filled with 5G towers and, you know, all these different things, these microwaves, right? That's cooking people. The cities, for one, are overpopulated. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's crammed up in these apartments and all these different places. So, you know, over the years, we've been telling people, listen, I think we all should strive to, I wouldn't necessarily say go off grid, right? Because, I mean, people have to understand what off grid means. It just means that you're disconnected from utilities, right? Gas, electric, water, things of that nature. Off grid don't necessarily mean that, oh, you living without internet or whatever the case is. It's a lot of people who live off grid that still have the internet and all that, right? But when you live in the country areas, you have a higher quality of life, right? You can grow your own food. You're in more control, right, of everything in your environment. Just like me, for an example, I can create my own gas, methane gas, and use it the same way I use propane, right? I could cook with it. I could heat up water with it. Very innovative, right? And sustainable. I can collect rainwater. I can heat my own house using firewood because I got a wood burning stove, right? All these different things that I've implemented, I invested in to give me a peace of mind, you know what I'm saying? And give me more control. I don't want to depend on no electric companies who has the power to cut off my electricity at will, who, you know what I'm saying? Who it's just like right now. And again, my prayers go out to all the brothers and sisters who have been affected by these storms. But, you know, okay, so let's say if they had, and I'm talking about the brothers and sisters who still have their houses and nothing was affected like that, but they don't have no power. Okay, those are the ones I'm talking about. If they invested in solar panels if they invested in solar generators, they invested in those types of things, they'll still have power right now. You know what I'm saying? That storm wouldn't have did nothing. Yes, it would have knocked out the main power source, but they could still be operating and functioning if had they did that. And also too, water. It's a lot of people who don't have water right now, right? This is why I stress like setting up a water catchment, rainwater catchment, to start collecting water. And there's other ways too. But you know, when we talk about preparedness and all of that, this is why it's important, man, to like really, you know, really just take heed to what we're saying. Like when we tell y'all these things, again, it's not to put fear in you or to make you scared or anything like that. You know, it's to help you be prepared in these situations, right? Because I'm gonna tell you this, we had storms hit us last year. And I remember, you know, I did a story and I said, hey, you know, we good, everything good, you know, we had a storm or whatever, but you know, it was cool, right? We got through it. That whole entire time we was in that storm, we had power. And it was bad. The storm was bad. We had power. Or power. But everybody who was using city power, right? They didn't have power. But because we had generators, we had backups and everything like that, we was unaffected. But that all went into preparation though. You said, is that Divergent? No, this Divergent is another movie too though. It's the same themes. You see in this movie Uglies, the Divergent, the Giver, they all show you what the government want their future to look like, or the future for humanity to look like in all these movies, right? You see how the mindsets and the attitudes and, you know, how people think who live in the cities, who's under the control and brainwashing of the government. And then you see how the ones, you know, who live on the outside, you see how they live and they operate. And you see how basically they are threats. They are threats to social order. You can watch the movie V for Vendetta. You can watch movies like 1984. You can watch movies like What Happened to Monday. Let me get off this. I mean, I could show y'all so much more. I can show y'all so much more, but yeah, like I say, all these movies, they show you the same things. And y'all can check these out. Go check them out. Go watch them. And that's something else I wanted to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about it in this video. I was going to go into Tesla and the whole robot thing because people been sending me that today, talking about these robots and how now they're starting to roll out the robots. Only thing I can say on that for right now, without going into it, oh yeah, the movie Soylent Green. It's an old movie. I watched it. Soylent Green. Go watch it. Go watch it and find out what the people were eating in the movie. Gonna wrap it up. 5 minutes. That's why I just closed everything out. Gonna wrap it up. But yeah, with the robots, right? So we already know their plans for these robots in AI. We already know about the movie I, Robot, right? We've seen I, Robot, and Elon is calling them We, Robot. Okay? We know about the movie, go look at the movie Total Recall. Not the one that was done in 1990, but the one that was done in 2012. That give you an idea of the type of future that they looking at, you know, with these electric cars and things of that nature. Total Recall, right? Another movie you should check out is a newer movie about robots. Look at the movie Subservience, right? With Megan Fox. Subservience. It gives you an idea, right? Because at first, they're gonna come off as like, yeah, you can purchase one of these robots. They're gonna help you around the house. They can watch your children for you. They can do this and do that, right? It always come off like that. But then the end game is for these robots to turn on you, right? Because again, they're programmable. But this is why I say, I was telling my homeboy this earlier. The reason why they will never win, regardless of what they're trying to do, they'll never win, right? Because just like you see in all these movies with robots, they develop consciousness. They become sentient, right? They develop feelings and things of that nature. It's just like us, right? It's just like us. So we know that the Most High formed and fashioned us. Everything that makes us human, so that we can have this experience, the Most High gifted us with all of that, right? But as soon as we come into this world, what do they do? And see, when I was growing up, it wasn't that bad, right? They were doing it, but then if you go look at the chart right now for the VACCINES, you look at that schedule for babies, I'm talking about it's like that. Compared to when I was growing up, it was like that. What are they trying to do? What are they trying to do? Make you docile, right? Make you slow. What are they doing with the fluoride? What's the purpose for it? All these things, they've been doing it, y'all. They've been doing it, but it's like now, they're trying to do it. They're trying to do it in ways in which, I don't know, but yeah, all these robot talk, man, all this robot talk. I'm gonna go into that another time, but yeah, I talked about it in my song Visions. I was just like, they created robots to slay us, or something like that back in 2016. But yeah, go check out those movies. I told y'all to check out. I wanted to go into more stuff, but I got to get on this road. But yeah, check out BlackRock, the corporation BlackRock. Check out the corporation Vanguard, right? Look at how they buying everything. They don't want you to own it. They want y'all to be happy. So listen, y'all, I just really wanted to go into that. Again, at the end of the day, we all got a decision to make. And we're not making that decision right now because everything's still cool. But this is the beginning of tribulation, the beginning of sorrows. They showing their hand, right? They're using the technology to create the storms. The big earthquake coming soon to Cali. That's gonna be a big one. That may be the one that gonna be unfortunate, man. It's a lot coming down the line, but we just in them times. We in them times. We just gotta pray for each other. We gotta look out for each other. You know what I'm saying? Be there for one another. We have to use our words carefully. You know what I'm saying? We have to speak life in each other. And again, like I said in that other video, we got to realize, coming to the realization of how powerful we are, right? Know that the Creator is in us, right? And if you want the Creator to fully take over you, you got to put in the work. You got to. Ain't no way around it. You got to put in the work. You can't be lukewarm. You can't, none of that. You got to find balance and create balance within yourself, right? You got to gain dominion over your flesh. Don't be a slave to it. Mind over matter, spirit over flesh. But again, like I told y'all before, We have this flesh for a reason. We have the carnal mind for a reason. We have, you know, those that animalistic nature for a reason. Make friends with it. Gain dominion over it, right? So when the time do come, you unleash that beast. Unleash that beast so it can do what it was created to do, wreak havoc. You know what I'm saying? So don't be scared. Be prepared. I'll keep your heads up, but stay low key with everything you got going on. So I love y'all. And until the next video, next time I pop out, y'all be easy, be good, stay safe, and keep us in your prayers. And I'm going to keep y'all in my prayer list. So peace, love, and light. Shalom.